Okay, cool. We're on. I just saw it pop up on these other things. Let me go live and go live. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a delay. We're getting better, y'all. We're getting better. Yeah, I did both. All right. Got my little producer here making sure she's like, you're live. Good. So welcome everybody to a live episode of Talking About It. Tonight's episode is fueled by Peddling Coffee. She's serving her handcrafted drinks, good vibes throughout El Paso. It's my daughter's business. She's been killing it. So yeah, that episode is brought to you. Tonight, y'all, we're talking about mental health, addiction, faith, accountability, and what it really takes to make change. Whether you're struggling yourself, supporting someone you love, or simply trying to figure out your next step, we hope that tonight's conversation reminds you that you're not alone. And let's get on into it. Our guest is the wonderful Miss Sara Guzman, the author of Thrive Map, Self-Led Recovery. It's an amazing book. So welcome, Sara.
Thank you. It's nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, a little bit of a different setting.
Yeah, slightly.
Just a little. And I was like, I wonder if she'll want to do it because it's different when we record. We have like a little bit more, I don't know,
It's a different
chill time.
pace.
It's a different
Yeah.
process. Yeah, it's a different pace. So, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. I have really been happy. Y'all have been making my heart happy that y'all are submitting questions, that you're paying attention to what's going on. And yeah, I just am so appreciative of that because doing this, you really never know who you can like if anybody's paying attention
Yeah.
or if you're reaching anybody. And so thank you all for those who have submitted questions, who join weekly. I've been trying to be on it. Um but yeah, thank you, Sara. Can you just real quick again tell everybody a little bit about your book and just a little bit about you?
Yes, of course. So my name is Sarah. I've been in recovery for 3.5 years now. I was struggling before that with drugs and alcohol for about 15 years on and off. And that prompted me to write my book, which is called Thrive Map. And I wrote that a little bit for me, but also for that version of me that was struggling, with trying and failing, and so many times just trying to get my life in order and heal and grow and transform, right? But it's pretty much about recovery, but sustainable. It meets you where you're at. It's meant to walk with you like a companion. It is for people that are recovering from uh, mental illness struggles, addiction, burnout, even, spiritual fallouts. It's it's meant to help people find themselves and return to who they really are, but it honors your nervous system, your process of change. That's why I say it meets you where you're at, because it doesn't matter if you're in the early stages of change or in like maintenance recovery. It will help you. It will provide practical steps, to walk with you. And also there's like the philosophy aspect of it, and the framework is just really strong because it's like on the four P's, right? And I can get into it, and we'll talk. Let me talk forever, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
pretty much
no,
in
you're
a
fine.
nutshell.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's a wonderful book. We have our homies over at Banging Media. What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. We've got some people over on the Moxie page. Moxie page, welcome. Um, if you all have been following along, we started out as Weisenheimers, closed the business, and now I've been doing the podcast for a while, and I have since gotten back to a little bit of a pivot. And so those on the Moxie page, I wanted to add the live on this page so y'all can get to re-know me and see what I'm doing, because a lot of those followers have been following us for a really long time. So thank you for following along in the journey. But yeah, getting back to your book, The Thrive Map,
You have it.
girl, I have it. I have pages highlighted. Y'all, if you are in a space where you feel like you're not sure if you are ready to, I don't know, do something different. Maybe if you've been struggling with alcohol or addiction, or maybe you've had mental health struggles, like this book is fantastic. I am not one to blow smoke up people's asses and say things that I don't truly believe, and this book is really good. What I really like about it, Sarah, is how you use some of like the cognitive behavioral therapy structure to it. So it's not just like you saying, "Oh, I did this and you should be doing this too." It's like really using um modalities that if you
Yeah,
go to therapy help. And like if you are frightened to go to therapy, or if you're not if you've been taught that
hesitant.
getting
Yeah.
therapy and talking about it is not what you do, then this book is a really good start. The Thrive Map, it's a really good start for you. So you can find it on Amazon.
Yes, ma'am.
Where else can we find it?
At the Cactus Blossom bookstore at
Okay.
Doniphan in El Paso, if you're in town.
Okay.
But
Here in
yeah, that's
town.
an excellent way of putting it. Yeah, I'm really glad that you touched on that perspective, because not everybody is ready or feels comfortable reaching out and going to therapy. But there are a lot of people out there that are silently wanting change and
Mhm.
they don't know where to start, or they may be not sure. And so this is it's a great option, for all of those people. And it does touch on a lot of modalities because it's kind of like a culmination of what I've learned through my recovery journey. And it's just like from a personal storytelling perspective. There are some stories in there. It's not just all practical advice, but thank you for
Yeah.
bringing it up. Yeah.
No, I do. I love it. You at the end, you'll have like little sub notes or footnotes of like your perspective of it, or why you just why this chapter was helpful to you. And so, no, I really enjoy it. I think from the responses that I got with questions, I think a lot of people are looking for resources where they can find within themselves,
Help themselves.
um, how to get some help or how to start the journey, on their own. And you guys, it's totally doable to do it on your own. It is. Any change, any progress, any step that you're taking, like it's positive. Like it's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
step. Don't stop and don't feel like like I'm over it or whatever. So let's, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna just hop into the questions because
Yeah, go for it.
I really did get some good ones. And so let's get on into the questions. Okay. This is, how do you know when you're struggling versus just going through a rough season? Hmm.
That's a good one.
Right? I feel like I feel like the struggle is, and Sarah, I'll let you, hop into whenever, but I feel like for me personally, struggling was my whole entire life. Like from the age of 6 years old, it was a lot of trauma, it was a lot of things that I went through living in survival mode. It was struggle, constant, right? Um, and I think what's really good about this episode is you're getting 2 perspectives, one from recovery, from drugs, alcohol, and one from the mental health part where I didn't have the same struggles, but they still kind of, like, bridge, like, they overlap.
Um,
So for me, I feel like the struggle, you just are in a constant shit show, like, you're constantly digging out of stuff. I feel like a season is you kind of, like, are able to dig yourself out,
you
and
can
then you might have
navigate
these,
it. Mhm.
yeah, you might have these waves of it. So I don't know. That wasn't a very eloquent answer. What about you, Sarah?
Well, now that I've been living in a stable, like I've been stable for some years now, I can look back and I can see the difference, because now when I have a rough season, I still have something within me that is holding on, and it guides me. I can navigate it. And I'm well in other areas. So like if I'm struggling with something, other areas of my life are doing well, and then I have a strong foundation, and it kind of holds me and it helps me get through whatever I'm going through, and I've had some rough seasons in the past few years, like illnesses and injuries and money struggles and things like that. But before, when I was struggling, like going through it, depression and suicidal ideation, and I think that's the worst thing that I've ever gone through, aside from the addiction, is the suicidal ideation. That was just like your world collapses. It just gets so narrow, and you can't see beyond
Mm.
your your experience of the world, your life experience. You can't see beyond it, and it just kind of swallows you, I think, is how survival felt like for me. It was just like everything was unbearable, and I had no fight left in me, and I was struggling to find hope. And that's kind of like the contrast that I would compare.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like right now I'm more so going through it in a more healed way, and I'm still struggling. Like last week I didn't do my live. Like I wasn't feeling good. I was like overwhelmed. I had a really rough week, and what I'm noticing now is that maybe it is just a rough patch, but before doing any of the work, like you said, it would have taken me out. I would have slid completely back, gone into a hole, just totally shut down. And
Your bounce
now
back period is faster.
it's a lot faster. Yeah. So my brain was like, make a plan, continue moving forward, don't stop, blah, blah, blah. But my body, I don't know if it was the cortisol or what, but my body was like hurting. And so I feel like through the seasons, the patches, when you are doing the work, you have the tools where, like
Mhm.
you said, the bounce back is a lot faster. You're not dwelling on it for so long. The things that would continue to spiral in your head, like the fucking what's that thing called? The squirrel or mouse, what is that thing when they're running on the
The
wheel, like a
hamster
mouse
wheel.
wheel?
The hamster.
Hamster wheel, there you go. One of those rodents.
Yeah, one of those.
When your brain is spinning out constantly, like, it just quiets a little bit. I haven't had therapy this month either, so, like, it's been, like, a lot of new change for me where I'm working through these things, but it's just to show you all that if you feel that you're struggling, or if you feel that that you're in a rough season, regardless of what it is, get some help. Like, go to your primary care doctor, ask for lab work so that you can get a baseline
Yeah,
and see if your labs are okay. Sometimes it could just be like I have very low vitamin D levels. Like, get your labs, see what's going on physically, and then also reach out for therapy to a therapist, talk to your doctor and provider
100%. 100%.
because
Like, I agree with you. Because whether you're struggling at an intense level or just going through a rough patch, like, you still need help, you
Mhm,
know? And I like to say, like, we need different types of help. And like you said earlier, everything that you do for yourself it counts. So like you can be getting spiritual help, if you don't want to go get therapy, and if you don't want to go to your primary care physician for checkup, then maybe you need spiritual nourishment, or maybe you do need to go get your lab work. Maybe you're deficient in some things, and you would be amazed at how much of an impact a deficiency has over your experience of life. But
mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, I'm low in vitamin B12 and I'm low in vitamin D. So, like, I get vitamin injections because I don't like taking pills.
it's
So,
important.
like, I've been taking them, and I notice when I haven't taken them,
You could tell.
routinely the way that I was doing. Yeah, so I'm thinking, like, all the stress that I had last week, I wasn't feeling good. I didn't go get my shots, and so, like, I'm feeling it even more this week, you know? So, yeah, whatever if it's a season, whatever it is, if you're not feeling good, go get checked. Go talk to a doctor. It's really okay. You brought up faith. We did get some faith questions. So, how do you let me I'm gonna just jump into these. Um, it's crazy. Since I've since I've been talking to you and since I've had, Yvette, in my life, and I've always had people surrounding me. My husband is a man of faith. Um, my mother, I know she prays for me all the time. Like, I know my family and everybody prays for me, but I've always struggled with faith. Um, since my grandma passed away when I was, in my 20s, she was my safe space, and she was the person who when I was a kid, that's who I looked to for safety, right, and comfort, and so when she passed, because she was such a woman of faith and gave her whole life to God and to everything, I was angry.
Mm,
I was so mad at him, and, I don't know if it's a combination of her and him and just people who are now that I've shed a lot of my old skin, the people who are surrounding me are heavily faith. Like, you guys talk about it openly and you, like, and I don't know, I it's making it hard for me to continue to fight it, right?
yeah.
Like, to try to be angry because I'm being surrounded by so many people. And I went to the eye doctor yesterday,
Mm.
and,
I need
if
to
there was,
go.
like yeah, you need to get your eyes
Yeah,
checked.
I need to
The
go.
but look, I'm gonna get to the faith question, but this is
Yeah.
leading into because it just blew my freaking mind. So I was gonna go somewhere else, ended up canceling that appointment. There was another appointment, a cancellation, so I was able to get slid into this appointment slot. I don't like going outside of the house, and so we go to the appointment. I was super anxious. I'm there. The doctor comes in. He's a new doctor, and he does my eye exam. And I don't know if he saw it in my soul through my eyes. I don't know what it was, but he's like, "Can I pray for you?"
Oh,
I started crying because I've just been feeling very heavy, like, just,
yeah,
you know,
that's amazing.
and I started crying. I was like, "Yeah, like, you can." And, he prayed, for me, and he gave me a little bit of a lesson, a
Mhm.
Bible verse and stuff, and he just kind of talked to me like the way nobody has ever talked to me when it comes to religion, when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to verses, and I enjoyed it, and when I got home, I text, and he was like I told him thank you, and he's like, "Thank your husband," and he said something because of his faith is why I'm getting protected and surrounded, right?
Oh, wow.
And, so it was really cool, and so I texted Yvette, and I'm like, "Girl, I don't know if it's because you're, like, praying for me or what, but this just was, like" the words that he said to me,
You
he
needed to hear it.
like, if he knew who I was, I'm like, do you know me?" Like,
That's
my mind
amazing.
was blown, dude. So one of the things he gave me was, Proverbs 3:5, and it said, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." I don't hold on, my thing. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths right." And, like, that's been super in my brain. I need things to be logical, and
Yes.
so that's part of the struggle, right? So, the question from Faith is, how do you separate your own beliefs and values from ones that you grew up with?
That's a good question. I did that personally. I grew up in a Catholic home, and when I was 13, 14 years old. I went to a Christian church, and then I stayed there for like 10 years on and off. And then I left that church when I was exploring my sexuality openly, and that
Mhm.
was frowned upon. And then I started just exploring life without that religion voice guiding my life. I kind of just shut it out, and I just went out and I did whatever I felt like doing, and I experimented with drugs and alcohol and people, and I did everything that I felt like doing. And then the only thing that I did though is I never stopped talking to God. Like no matter what I was doing, I never stopped praying. But it wasn't like prayer, like religion prayer. It was just me having a dialogue, just me talking, like I'm talking to you, just talking to God about everything in my life. And eventually I read about Buddhism, and I practiced, meditation. And then I read about Hindu, the
Mhm.
Quran, and I started reading passages from that. And I started comparing, like, hey, wait a minute, like this is what I learned over here, and like this is saying the same thing that this is saying, like it's the same teaching, but it's different religions. And that's kind of how I started separating myself from what I grew up with. And then I started questioning, like, is this belief helpful? Because when I was going through my mental health struggles, one of the very first things that I learned to ask is this helpful or not? Like I stopped asking, because the voice of religion would like haunt me. It was like, you're living wrong, you're sinning, you're going to hell, you're living wrong, you're sinning, you're going to hell. And it was just like so loud and tormenting that when I went to therapy for the first time, and they were like, you don't have to compare everything against truth. Like you don't have to say, is this true or false, is this right or wrong? You can just ask yourself, is it helpful or not? So then that's what I started asking myself, is this belief helpful or unhelpful? Is me believing in hell helpful for me right now, or is it tormenting me to the point that I'm ill mentally? And that is how I did it. Just a little bit of all of that.
Yeah, you researched, you found what works for you, and I think that that's such an important message, right? Is regardless of what the struggles is, regardless of what your religious background is, regardless of what your background is, like you find what works for you. Another thing that this doctor told me was when reading the passages and I'm totally chopping this thing. I did grow up very Catholic. It was very important, but like since then it's just been a block. But the way he said it was like it's you compare Bible to Bible, and then you know that it's like the translation of it is right. And then like how you were saying, you read other religions and you started, and the message in the base of it, in the pure form, the way that I think of it, it's all the same, right? It's be kind, be compassionate. It's not all of the scary things, and I think that's what happened with me was all of the scary things were too scary, and it was like, "No." And then the other part to it, now just in the nation with politics and how big of a role it plays in every aspect of life now, it's scary and mean and ugly, and it's like that's not how I believe that it should be. And so whatever your religion, your background, whatever it is, if you're struggling, find something that works for you. Um for your faith, find something that works for you. Try looking up other religions and see. I think a lot of them have the common baseline is a lot of the same
Love. I talk about
principles.
it in my book. The section 3 is I talk about connection and union with God, and how important it is to do that, and how you can return to that connection, because I think it's inherent in all of us, but we kind of disconnect our awareness of it. But if you return to that awareness of your natural connection to source, and you start talking to God, then you will return to union, and you'll feel it, like your
Mhm.
experience of life is different.
Yeah. Um Yeah, thank you. Okay, we see the tattoo honey, Miss Yvette, joined us on Instagram. Miss Michaela joined us. Leslie, thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all have any questions, please drop them in the comments on any of the pages on YouTube. We the questions we're answering are the ones that were pre-submitted, but we're answering everything. So y'all drop some in the comments if you have any. Um, let's see.
One sec.
While we're on a quick break, or just taking a quick second, again, I'm going through questions that were pre-submitted. And if you have any, make sure that you go ahead and drop them in the comments. So, okay. So, this one is a question about so if I'm hosting a party, should I invite my sober friend? How do I make them feel included without putting them out or in an uncomfortable position?
Yeah, girl, invite her. Buy her some non-alcoholic options. She'll be all right. I attended my first party as a sober person not too long ago. And that's what my friends did. Shout out to them. If you're listening, I love you. They bought me some non-alcoholic options, and I was nervous, because it's like, I don't know, it's natural nerves, but it was all right. I had fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I mean, the second question or another question that was submitted dealing with the same type of thing is I recently got sober, but I feel left out and nobody invites me anywhere anymore. What can I do to
Fuck 'em.
avoid feeling isolated while staying committed to my recovery? He said, fuck them.
Fuck 'em, girl. They weren't real anyway.
Yeah. I agree.
Sorry.
No. I agree. I feel like the people who are gonna be there for you or who have been in your life and really genuinely care are gonna make space for you in whichever capacity
New
that you're in.
version. Your new version. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It was a
and
it was a two question in one, right?
no, it was a separate question.
Oh, okay.
So one of them was, if I'm hosting a party, should I invite my sober friend? And then the second question that was asked was that they recently got sober, but they feel left out because nobody invites them anywhere anymore. What can I do to avoid feeling isolated while staying committed to my recovery? Yeah,
I think that you can't really avoid feeling isolated. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel left out. I think it's part of the process of healing. It's part of the recovery journey. A lot of us go through that, but I think you can process that emotion and metabolize it so that it pushes you towards the next season of your life, which is new friends, new people, new relationships that are healthier, that match who you're becoming and where you're going. And I think it's just all part of that the phases that you go through, does that make sense?
yeah, it does. And like for me, for me the sober aspect isn't really a big part of it for myself personally, but I feel the isolation a lot because
I still feel it.
because for me it's mental, right? It's social. Being out in social situations stresses me out. I'm learning, and we talked about this when you were a guest on my show, like when we did the recorded episode, like I'm still learning, like I'm having to relearn everything that I like because things that I liked before, I don't really care for now. I'm having to relearn myself. And so, sometimes I'll go to a family party or I'll be out in public, and even though I'm there, I still feel isolated because I don't feel like me. Or
Yes,
unless the new me
exactly.
or unless the new me is just more awkward than the
That's
old me.
true. That's true. That's important too, because you can be surrounded by people and still feel isolated, alone, misunderstood, maybe, like they don't see the real you, or like you're not being your real self fully.
Yeah,
There's layers, but
definitely. And just so anybody, if you all ever meet me outside of podcast, I am that awkward. I'm just I just am. Like, I
but
think it
still
was
say what's up.
yeah, say what's up. I will not say what's up. I might look like if I'm terrified. I don't know. Me and my husband were having this conversation the other day. He's like, so my daughter was she participated in that coffee fest that the
I'm sorry.
Pastel del Norte had. Shout out to them. They did a really great job. But so I went, right, of course, to support my daughter to help her, and it was loud. Like, the music was ridiculously loud for it being a coffee fest. Like, we were trying to talk to people and you'd, like, have to scream. So, like, for me, already just leaving the house is a layer of, like, stress. Then it was, like, getting there and seeing the amount of people was a lot. And that, so it was all these different layers, and I'm there just like, "Ugh." But I was talking to people, and my husband's like, Are you okay?" And I was like, "I need to go to the car." He's like, "When you're talking to people, you can't tell how
How you're
nervous you are."
struggling.
Yeah, how I'm
Mhm.
struggling, and I'm like, my brain seems to be a lot stronger where I'm able to, like, focus, but my body was like, "Ugh," like, I'm still sore. That was on Saturday.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's like a part of you is maybe like performing that conversation, but within you, you're having a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's like, like the what do you call them? The
So that
sirens are going.
tension is like,
Yeah,
it's
because 'cause I'm like this.
exhausting.
Yeah, so it's just constant, like, bracing is what I feel like I'm
Yes,
doing.
that's a good word. That's a good word. Yeah.
Just bracing, and but I did it. I was proud of myself that I did it. So, yeah, if you see me out, please say hello. I may look like I'm awkward or mean. I'm not. I'm just chill. If you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it honestly. Let's see, Tattoo Honey, I absolutely love how real you both are. Oh, thank you, friend. You too, girl. She's like, it's crazy how, like, we've all met and how, like, I didn't know you 2 knew each other so well. You know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's just when you guys start doing the work and you start healing, and if you're scared of setting boundaries and you're scared that you're gonna be alone and you're gonna feel by yourself and you're gonna have to do it all on your own, trust me when I say you'll feel like that for a little bit, but you're gonna start to see people coming into your life that have relatable stories, that see you in a way that you don't see yourself, that lift you up, and it's just something that I honestly never thought that would happen because I've always been this, like, no new friends type of person, like, I'm fine with how I am, and once I started doing the work, you start I think you even mentioned it on the last one where we talked about, like, tunnel vision, like, your everything starts opening up once you start shedding these layers and opening up your world again. Um, yeah, it's crazy. So, yes, if you start doing the work, you start setting boundaries, you're gonna see people leave and bounce, and that's okay. That's part of the process, is it's allowing you to open up space for those who are ready to be coming in your life at the time that you're needing them.
And it's a
Um,
confirmation, that you are growing. Like I would kind of like, yeah, grieve what you're gonna grieve, because there are relationships that you have to grieve, but also celebrate, like, hey, I'm headed somewhere and it's okay if they can't come. Like, thank you. I enjoyed my time. I appreciate what you've done for my life or whatnot. And I cherish the times that we shared together. But also, hey, I'm happy that I'm headed where I said I was headed. So
yeah.
it's a sign that you are growing.
Yeah, and know that those relationships don't necessarily mean that they're dead to you or cut off.
Just
At different
different.
points, they're just different, and maybe when they start to heal or maybe when they get tired of a certain thing, then you'll catch back up and
Right.
you'll be able to help them. You'll be able to have different conversations and meet that person as new versions of yourself,
That's
and
beautiful when
it's
that happens. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like you when you can reconnect with somebody and you're on the same page and you're like, "Fuck yeah, okay, cool." Like,
for
yeah,
sure.
it's cool. Alright, let's see. Um, why do so many people we get this question a lot. Why do so many people avoid asking for help until they are already in crisis? I think it's just
I
because we're taught.
Because what?
'Cause we're taught to not talk about shit, or we're taught to not prepare for shit. We're taught at a very young age. I don't know if it's culturally, but it's just one of those things where you just keep going and, you know,
I
it's just
just
not
personally thought like I grew up with depression, and I just thought that's how life was. I didn't have a point of reference as to that this is how it should be. And so growing up, it was just like that's how it is, that's how life is, and it was just normalized.
Mhm.
It wasn't until I was diagnosed that I was like, oh, this is not how life is supposed to be. But I mean, obviously, that was after my point of crisis. So to me, it was just like, what was I going to ask for help about, if it was just like life and
That
also
was just
like,
normal for you.
yeah, I think that's, now that I'm talking about it, I did speak up when I was a child. And maybe that's why I never again asked for help. Because when I
Yeah,
did speak up, I was told um, to just pretty much shut up and keep going.
yeah,
So maybe that's where my
yeah, and,
silence,
you're taught like I said, you're taught that at such a young age. It's like, "Oh, you're fine," or
it'll pass or it's normal.
it's normal," or "You don't need to talk about it, stay busy," or,
Stay busy, that's a big one. Yes.
when I was having panic attacks when I was, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old in school, it was I was throwing a tantrum, or I was a bad kid, or,
Uh,
like, I needed attention. It wasn't anything serious, right? I would have stomach troubles all the time. I was always getting X-rays. I was always in the doctors getting X-rays and stuff like that, and it's like, no, I had anxiety and panic attacks. I had trauma from when I was a kid, and so
you are
we're
right.
taught to just
Yeah.
to just
Shove it down.
shove it down, "It's fine, don't worry about it, it'll pass," and so I
And
think
I
just at
think
a young age.
maybe that's because that's how they were taught.
Yeah,
Like it's like
the
generational.
cycle. Mhm, exactly, and I think that's why it's so important that we have conversations like this, and why I have the podcast is because I wanna make sure that we're normalizing these conversations and we're breaking the stigma that we've been taught forever, and I'm breaking cycles with my kids, it's,
Yeah. Because
it's
go ahead.
no, 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 yeah, it's just it's just something that needs to be done. Like, these fucking cycles are ridiculous, and 4 or 5 generations in, and you're still seeing the same shit over and over and over. It's like,
Yeah, we need safe spaces. And I think
yes,
that whoever is asking that question, like you are blessed to be asking that, because that means you do have a safe space where if you were struggling, it would be normal for you to ask for help, but not
yes,
everybody grew up with that. And so I think that's where the difference lies.
yeah, 100%. Um, let's see this one here. Can you hold someone accountable and still show them compassion? Oh, I think it's a two-part it's like a three-part question. How do you support someone who's struggling without enabling them? Can you hold someone accountable and still show them compassion? Mm.
Well, I think, yeah. That was a long silence for a
No, no,
yeah.
no, no,
Yeah.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree. We say tough love a lot, and I've said this on the lives, I've said this on the show a lot. We say tough love all the time, and it's not tough love, it's love. If I feel that somebody in my circle is fucking up, I'm gonna say, "Yo, you're fucking up." And it's not in a mean way or an ugly way or to make them feel bad, but it's to let them know, like, this isn't you. Like, you need to change. You need to, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that we don't have enough people doing that um nowadays. It seems accountability is a thing of the past. Um
I
and
think
I
it also depends, though. Go ahead, finish it. I'll.
No, yeah, like I just feel like accountability in everything in everyday life. We see Fit Fam, right? Shout out to Fit Fam. We see Fit Fam and we see car crashes all of the time. We see politicians not doing what they say they're going to do. We see the same shit happening, right? And nobody is getting held accountable. Everybody else gets the blame. If there's people out drinking and driving, it's the police officer's fault for not having enough patrols on the streets. It's not the person who is drinking, or it's not the person who is drinking at a house party and people are letting them take off and drive. There's no accountability. You know, it's like it all gets passed around to the next person. And I think that we need to have accountability for ourselves,
Yeah,
and we need to hold those we need to hold people accountable, because that's the only true way, in my opinion, that someone shows that they care about you. Well, one of the ways, right? But I appreciate when I fuck up and people are like, "Okay, you could have said that better," or you know what I mean? Like, I
I
feel like, go ahead.
I think it depends on because, like you said, we have to hold ourselves accountable, right? And I agree with that. But sometimes when you're just starting off, like you need somebody else to hold you accountable, but it depends who that other person is. Sometimes
Mhm.
your loved ones can't be the ones to hold you accountable.
Yes.
Sometimes that relationship has no boundaries. Sometimes there's no respect. Sometimes there's a love that is unhealthily expressed, and the lines blur. But when you find somebody that you respect and that is holding you accountable with compassion, I think that compassion is the only way for accountability. Because if you go in there and you start calling people out, like, yeah, there's like being blunt, and a lot of people benefit from that bluntness, that being straightforward. But if you don't have that compassion, I think it's easy for the person to respond to that with shame,
Mm,
and then that is just a culprit. So if you are trying to help somebody, because that's what they said, right? They're trying to help
yeah.
somebody, hold them accountable.
Yes.
Um, I would say you can definitely do both, because for me, I experienced it. I reached out to my sister and my mom when I was just I was doing things when I was drunk that I was very ashamed of, and I wasn't proud of, and I was just tired of the same cycle of me not being able to break out of it, that I finally said, like, I need help.
Yeah.
And that was my way of saying, hold me accountable. And they were like, how can we help you? And I said, this is my goal, this is what I want to change. Just check in with me, every now and
Mhm.
then. And sure, like, they didn't judge me, and to me that was compassion, right? Like, they didn't talk shit, they didn't judge me, they didn't rush me. They let me figure out my process and where I was at in my journey, and then they were there with support. They checked in, like, hey, how are you going? Are you still doing what you said you were going to do? And if I didn't, then they were like, okay, it's okay, like, what's next? They never imposed their will on me. They were
Yeah.
just present. And I think being present does more for somebody than you lecturing them or talking shit or being unkind. Just being present in somebody's life, being consistent, just showing up, showing that you care, regardless of whether they do change or not. But make it clear that you do have boundaries. So it's like, if you don't change, it's like me now. If I were with somebody that is struggling, da da da, I would say, I'm not gonna be around you when you're drinking or doing drugs. That's my boundary. I
Mm.
love you, but the life that I live right now, I'm protecting my sobriety, and so I don't want to be around you if you're drinking or doing drugs. That could be a boundary. I personally feel comfortable whenever people are drinking. It's their
Yeah.
life, but it's an example, right? Of, like, holding boundaries, while you're holding somebody accountable, while you're being compassionate. It's possible.
Yeah, it's hard though. It is hard and it's frustrating and it's all of those things, but if you truly care for that person and
It's
you
hard.
are wanting to be there for them and be present, it's going to be hard, but I think yeah, I think that the way that you do it is going to be based off of that person because only you know that person and the relationship you have with that person. And yeah, I think that it's hard. It's hard when people when you're trying to help people and they reach out and they're not exactly ready and you're like, you want to help like I know if you just follow these steps it's going to work. And it's like, no, it's okay. They kind of push back. So like I get it. I struggle with that. Well, not as much so much anymore. Now I'm kind of like where you are saying like be compassionate. Because I think for me what the hardest thing is how do you know if you're being compassionate or you're enabling? You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes if you're being compassionate, it can lead to the person still doing the same things repetitively that can maybe be destructive.
Well, I think enabling would be like, here's money, or like, you can live with me while you're still using, or
Gotcha.
like, you know, let me go. I don't know. But then having compassion is just patience, I think, kindness, the way that you speak to them, being present, like I said, being available, listening.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a
It's hard.
tough
It's hard.
conversation.
It's hard. We can't get that all in an
But
hour, y'all.
I touch on that in the book too, because going back to the process of change, there's stages of change that we go through, and depending on what stage you're in, it determines what you need. And
Yeah,
so you have different needs depending on what stage of change you're in. And if you're not aware of what you're needing, then you're gonna be stuck. And the people that are trying to hold you accountable are gonna also be struggling, suffering.
yeah,
There's a certain type of suffering, I think. Um, but both of you will be going through it, so learn.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's crazy how healing, whether it's through your mental health or healing through recovery, it's a lot of the same it's a lot of parallel things that you go through. It's just I don't know how I could say that in a more eloquent way, but like, yeah, you go through a lot of the same parallel things, like setting boundaries, shedding things. Um, it all leads you back to being like a lot of the things that hold on. A lot of the things that you write about in your book, talking about recovery, are a lot of things that I experience with my mental health journey. I think that's a better way of saying it. Like a lot of the things are the same. For me, it wasn't necessarily addiction, but well, I guess so, right? Because then I'm addicted to like the survival mode, the fear, I'm addicted to the chaos, or was. I'm much better. I'm better now. Um, yeah. All right, I got lost in my thought.
I
Um,
think I have enough battery for like one more question.
yeah, no, you're good. Okay,
Sorry.
so no, you're fine. So, last one is, I just wanted to again thank you, for coming on, for doing this live with me, and for showing up. I strongly feel that your voice needs to be heard. It's very powerful, the things that you talk about. So everybody, make sure if you're not already, follow Sarah at is it Thrive or Die Recovery.
Yes, ma'am. Thrive or Die Die Recovery.
Driver on Instagram, Facebook. You can get the book at on Amazon or at Cactus Bloom. Is it Cactus
Even
Bloom?
on Donovan.
On Donovan. Yes. So if you otherwise you can DM her and she has
Yes, I
books
have.
on hand. She
I
has
do.
books
I
on
was
hand.
about to say I have physical copies in my trunk, so
Yes.
I'll
So
meet you.
I
I'll
know
be your hope dealer.
when I had a and I've gifted this book, Sarah. I've gifted this book to people I feel very close to, and I think that maybe they could find something in your book. I truly believe it's a wonderful read. I think that it's helpful for anybody. So let's bring back gifting books to people, y'all. And
Yes. Write a note in there.
yeah, I did. I don't know if I posted it or not, but
Yeah.
I wrote them a note. I want to bring back writing notes like when we were in high school and like sending that shit out. I have a couple of things planned that I want to do, but we'll talk about that when I finally get them like lined up. But everybody, thank you for showing up. Sarah, thank you. I appreciate you. I look forward to other things that you're going to be doing. What was
Thank
that thing? What
you.
are you on right now? Is it Medium? I
Yes,
clicked on
I'm
the link today.
writing longer form content on Medium. I've been
That's good.
writing. I've just barely started sharing them on my Instagram, but I've been writing on Medium for some time now. I
Yeah,
just
I was
figured not everybody has that attention span, but I'm like, maybe some people do, so I'm gonna share it anyway.
no, yeah, it's great. I was trying to sign up for it, but I don't know my passwords. So I was like,
It
fuck. So I have to go back to
happens.
it. I have
It
to go back
happens.
to it. But thank you so much for just joining me. I know your battery is low, so if it pops off, then no
Sorry,
worries.
I had a
No,
long day. I
no.
thought I had charged it, but I think you had one more question in you know?
Yeah, so the question what was I was gonna ask you because you recently have been posting about the World Cup and you showed up. You're not a soccer fan, and it was something that you just realized that participating, you have to be a participant in things. But can you just touch on that really quick because I really liked what you had to say about it. It opened my eyes because I participate from afar
Mm.
a lot of times because of the fear of me, like my anxiety. Um, Thank you, Banging Media for tuning in. Appreciate you. But can you touch on that a little bit,
Yeah,
Sarah?
yeah, for sure. So I think what I said was you couldn't pay me to watch a soccer game is what I would have said years ago. And my story was that when I was depressed and suicidal pretty much, I didn't want to do anything. Like I wasn't interested in life. Everything seemed pointless and heavy and it was just it was hard for me to do anything at all, right? And so I had this flashback when I was watching the game and I was like, man, look at me. Like I had like a little proud moment, you know, like look at me, I'm here watching the game with my family and laughing and enjoying myself. And just because I showed up. And I was like, before I wouldn't have showed up, I wouldn't have participated. Why? Because that story, that narrative of like, what for? Nothing matters. What's the point? It was so loud in my head that it would keep me from showing up and participating and living life. And I think that because um, it had like the experience had to justify itself in order for me to participate. I
Yeah.
wanted to know that the med would work. I wanted to know that the walk would work, that the that showing up with friends would do something for me. Like I wanted certainty before I did anything. I wanted to know that it would be worth it. And now it's backwards. Now I show up, I participate, and then afterwards I find meaning. You know, I find that it was a warm connection. I found that it was worth it, that it was helpful for my well-being. You know, but now I notice like it's backwards. You know, like I had it backwards. I
Mhm.
wanted it before I showed up. Am I making
Yeah.
sense? Or am I
Yeah.
rambling? I don't know.
100% you're making sense because that's how I feel. Like I feel like why am I going to go? My eyes are going to mess up. I'm going to have a headache. I'm going to be tight the whole time. The next day I'm going to be sore. Like I don't
But
want to
what
ruin
happens
every
after?
that
You're like,
what
I'm
I
glad
say.
I went.
I'm glad I went. Like I'll
Yeah,
feel like I got my ass kicked. I felt hungover this last time. Like I didn't drink
yeah,
at
yeah.
all. I
It's
was
crazy how
hydrating too, but
the somatic
the
experience is so real.
yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
It is, it's crazy, and for me, it's like I remove myself a lot of times from situations because I don't wanna ruin anybody else's fun. I don't want them to be worried about, like, "Is she okay? Is she panicking? Is she this? Is she that?" So, like, when I saw your post about it, it was like, "Okay." And here that's why I wanted to ask you about it, and hearing how you said that it's opposite now, I need to try that, and I think a lot of the messaging that I've been getting just recently with the Bible
Mm,
versus the other day with people telling me things. It's that I need to truly learn to let go. I don't know how to do
Surrender.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know
Surrender
how
is
to do
very
that.
nice. Yeah.
I don't know how to do that in anything. I'm so used to being in control and like in control of my surroundings and control of everything because of how out of control it was as a child, right? That's what I feel leads to my
Did
mental.
I did I ever recommend meditation to you?
Yeah, girl, I meditate. It just, I meditate. It helps me when I'm in that heightened
State.
state. And usually in my ear, and again, I don't have a headphone in. Usually when I'm doing anything, I'll have a headphone in my ear that has, like, a meditation, or it
Mm-hmm.
has, like, the Japanese music with rain
Oh yeah, I
sounds.
love that. Yeah, yeah.
I'll just have it in my ear, and it basically just kinda helps me to stay focused. But look, I have this one, but it's for the microphone. I don't have anything in my ear. So, I am, like you, starting to see the progress, because sometimes when you're going through the journey, you're going through it kind of fast at some places, and you don't realize how far you've come until there's a moment and you're like, "Oh, shit, okay." Um, and so, yeah,
I
I
think you'll
think
have that moment when it comes to surrender.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know how. Like, how do you do it? How
Because
do you trust?
if you're already feeling the pull, the evolution is inevitable. Like you can't
Mm,
stop it. So like
yeah.
life will happen for you and then it'll unfold and then you'll be like, "Oh, that's what surrender is like."
Uh, and it's funny is I have one chapter in my journey of my past. I'm gonna call it my past life, my old business stuff, my things from before I started healing. I have one thing that I cannot close yet. Like, it's out of my control. And I've kind of set that as my goal line, right? Like, once that thing is closed, I feel like I'll be able to, like, truly let go. Like, my neck is constantly tight because it's just always in the back of my head. So that's my goal, or my hope at least, is that once I have that, okay, I can breathe, you know?
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm telling myself, but
I think
I'm gonna try.
I've experienced true surrender a few times in my life because it's hard. Like in your day to day, to surrender to life and to surrender to your faith is hard. Like it goes against, I think, your nature of wanting control, like you said, you know. But when I was at the edge and trying to end it, you know, I I surrendered because I had nothing left in me. I had no fight
Mm,
left in me, and I just said, I literally out loud said, like, I surrender. Like, there's nothing that I can do in my own power. Everything is in your hands, and just kind of verbalizing it, like, I give this life to you, whatever it is that I have left, you know, like, step into my life, um pick me up, you know, take it, take this stress, take these worries, take this tension, and you literally voice it. That was one episode. And then recently, when I got sick with the bulging disc in the cervical and my nerves
ouch.
were pinching, I was getting like blinded, like my vision was going, tingling nerves, numbness, and headaches that were pounding. Like I was really going through it, and I went to the doctors, and obviously there's a process, you know,
Mhm.
between appointments. So between appointments, where it's like, okay, I'm doing what I can, but there's nothing else I could do right now, and I just, again, like, I surrender, you know, where it's like, okay, God, step in. And I hate it though. I hate it that I have to get to that point to surrender. Like, I wish
Mm.
I could do it more proactively,
Yeah.
like on a daily, because I know people that are like that. Like I know people that wake up and they surrender their day and they're
Yes.
like, God, you're in control. I trust your sovereignty, whatever it is that I'm going to experience today. I trust that it's good for me overall and that it's going to work out for my best interest, you know. And they have this trust. Like my mom is one of those people. And I tell her every day, like, if I can have just half of your faith, if I could be half of the woman that you are, like, I'll make it in life, you know. Because she just surrenders daily, man. And I'm like, man, how do you do it? Like, it takes
Yeah.
an injury for me to surrender.
I'm 40, I'm like 30 plus years in survival mode, girl, and I'm like healing, and I still have not been able to say the words or to let it go. So I think you're so far ahead.
We'll
I see
all we'll
this a
all be
lot.
praying for you. Everybody listening, we'll all be praying for you,
Thank
sister.
you. Yeah, I feel like whether it's my again, I think it's my grandma, I think it's God, I think it's
A little bit
every
of
a little bit of everything kind of, like, speaking to me and coming at me in the craziest places where you don't even an eye appointment for a you know what I mean?
I love that for you. It's
Like,
something
it
I'll
was
never forget.
yeah, it was just crazy. I looked at my husband and I was like, after
God
and
is
then
speaking to you. You just gotta speak
he's
back.
that's what the doctor said. He said, "I need to speak back." He said, "I need to write." And he's like, "And write things."
That's
He's like
helpful. If you can't speak it, write it
he
100%.
said he
Yes.
said, "Write it, write the question and you'll write the answer." And he's like, "And you'll know." He's all, "Don't hesitate. You just write whatever you can write. And when you're reading it, you'll read the answer." And he's like, "That's how you'll know that it's the Holy Spirit speaking through you." So yeah, it was really cool. But Miss Ma'am, thank you so much again for spending this hour with us. Everybody who joined in and who was on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, both Instagrams, thank you. We appreciate you. Um, make sure y'all just thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you take anything away from this conversation, let it be that healing isn't always linear.
Yes.
Growth can be uncomfortable, and asking for help is never something to be ashamed about. Keep showing up, keep learning. As always, keep on talking about the hard things so you can start to appreciate and enjoy the good things. We'll catch you on the next one, y'all. Have a good one.
Bye, Ashley.
Bye.